Ladies and gentlemen, this is breaking news. In this video, I'm going to show you a statement that the Small Business Administration's Office of Inspector General exclusively released to me regarding the agency's enhanced protocols to stop the disbursement of thousands of fraudulent economic injury disaster loans and its advances worth hundreds of millions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen. And watch this video until the end, because I'm going to show you what type of activity you should avoid to avoid facing delays in processing with your application for an economic injury disaster loan or advances if S.4227 passes, which is the bill that will ensure that the Small Business Administration disperse the full $10,000 economic injury disaster loan advance to all legitimate small business applicants, ladies and gentlemen. First off, major shout out to Speak and See. He's doing a great job ensuring that we push the Ensuring Increased Disaster Loan for Small Businesses Act. Democrat Senator from Nevada, Jackie Rosen, and Republican Senator from Texas, John Cornyn, introduced this bill. It now has 6 co-sponsors and the original sponsors, so 7 sponsors in total, ladies and gentlemen. You know, as per yesterday's video, Jackie Rosen demanded that the GOP included this in the next disaster relief package, so it's picking up steam, ladies and gentlemen. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you what we need to do to ensure that we get this thing included in the next disaster relief package, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, background. A couple of days ago, I released a video. I was probably the only person on YouTube to release a video reading the key details of the Small Business Administration's Office of Inspector General's report finding that the SBA disbursed thousands of fraudulent economic injury disaster loans and advances worth hundreds of millions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen, while you, legitimate small business applicants, have been stuck in processing and applied for months and are still waiting on a response, ladies and gentlemen. So I went out and I asked the Small Business Administration's press office what would be those protocols exactly. I wanted to find out exactly what type of requirements we would have to fulfill and what are they doing to stop this and to ensure that they take care of all of the outstanding economic injury disaster loans and advances when S.4227 gets passed. And here's what the SBA's Office of Inspector General communicated to me, ladies and gentlemen. On background from an SBA spokesperson, at the onset of this crisis, SBA proactively initiated stringent fraud prevention safeguards that have so far prevented the processing of thousands of invalid applications, balancing the agency's fiduciary responsibilities against the urgent need to provide the small business sector with more than $184 billion it needed to weather the precipitous challenges created by this pandemic. These rigorous and comprehensive controls included an end-to-end infrastructure of internal controls comprised of automated tools, scores of system rules to validate borrower identity and business eligibility, and an application review process consisting of multiple checks. Furthermore, as the OIG acknowledges, the SBA is referring suspected cases to the OIG for investigation, and the OIG affirms in the report that actions taken by SBA management are responsive to OIG's suggested actions in the alert. SBA also is coordinating with financial institutions to leverage their internal controls to address potential cases of fraud. So, the Small Business Administration, I guess, is more closely following the recommendations of the OIGs to ensure that they stop disbursing fraudulent loans, thousands of fraudulent economic injury disaster loans and advances worth hundreds of millions of dollars. In response to this statement, I sent the Small Business Administration's press office some follow-up questions so we can specifically know what are the requirements that we have to fulfill as applicants for the economic injury disaster loan, so we can avoid delays in processing with our economic injury disaster loan applications, or for the advances once S.4227 funds it or Congress funds the program to have the Small Business Administration disperse the full $10,000 grant to all legitimate small business applicants by any means necessary. So subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so as yet, because you will be among the first people to know, because no one else is reporting about this. No other channel on YouTube, no major news outlets are giving this the attention that it needs, so we can have the smoothest processing of our economic injury disaster loans and advances, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to read the part of the report which lists what are the types of suspected fraudulent activity that causes the Small Business Administration to go ahead and refer an applicant's case to the OIG and gets applications stuck in processing. So you could avoid getting into that type of situation, being a legitimate small business. Here it goes. This is from page 3 of the OIG's report that I read on my previous video. If you want to watch all of the key details that I read, you can go ahead and watch the previous video through my economic injury disaster loan playlist, to which I'll link below. Examples of suspicious activities and suspected fraud. Examples of suspicious activity reported by financial institutions include accounts established using stolen identities, account holders unable to explain origins of deposits or identify business names on loans, account holders claiming to use the funds to open a business, account holders attempting to transfer funds into investment accounts. Let me just go back on that one. Account holders claiming to use the funds to open a business. In order for you to be eligible for an economic injury disaster loan or its advance, your business had to be in operation by January 31st, before January 31st, 2020. So you should not be using economic injury disaster loans to open a new business, because you already should have a business in operation, ladies and gentlemen. Account holders attempting to transfer funds to foreign accounts. Loan deposits being made into accounts with no other account activity that were established remotely just before receiving the loan funds. So if you just opened your bank account online and the only activity you have is the deposit coming from the economic injury disaster loan, that could trigger a red flag in the financial institution, and they'll go ahead and report it to the SBA, which will go ahead and refer it to the Office of Inspector General as suspected fraud, and you'll face a delay in processing. That's why a number of people are facing bank rejections, where the bank is basically sending the money back, and that causes an incredible delay in processing, because it takes about 2 weeks to get back to the SBA. It takes 2 weeks for the funds to get back to the Small Business Administration, and then about 2 to 3 weeks for them to send it back to an account that's typically, for the most part, a business account in the name of the business for which you applied for an economic injury disaster loan. Economic injury loan funds made to agricultural businesses being deposited in accounts of unrelated third parties located in different states than the business. So, I just read a report on the Washington Post that found that a number of people in Chicago were applying on behalf of agricultural businesses as if they were raising crops in an apartment building, ladies and gentlemen. So, account holders attempting to withdraw loan funds in cash or transfer the funds to other newly established accounts. So you want to ensure that you manage the funds for the economic injury disaster loan in your business account that's in the name of the business that applied for the economic injury disaster loan. Economic injury loans or advance grants being deposited into personal accounts with no evidence of business activity of customers of the financial institution. So that's probably the most widespread complaint that I get from viewers, that I get from people who have applied for economic injury disaster loan and are stuck in the rejection process and waiting for the Small Business Administration to receive the funds and then having them send the funds back. They applied with a personal account or using an account through a fintech organization such as Cash App, Chime, PayPal, etc. If it's in a personal account and they try to send the funds, they reject it. Now you have to go ahead and give them, you have to open a business account, typically a business account with a bank that has a brick and mortar presence, mainstream banks, JP Morgan, Chase, Bank of America, etc. And then you have to wait for them to send the money back into the right account. And that can go on for over a month, ladies and gentlemen. So, the best way for you to be prepared to apply for economic injury disaster loan and in advance, if they open up the program again as per S.4227. They will open it up. Is to have a business account with a financial institution with a brick and mortar presence, ladies and gentlemen. And the business account should be in the name of the business that you entered when applying for your economic injury disaster loan. It should also have the same address on file that you use when applying for your economic injury disaster loan. And that goes for applying for business credit, period. You always want to have your business name, your business account, your address on file, your telephone number, any public posts online to match whatever you used to apply for any form of business financing. A quick tip for veterans, you can get a free business account over at JP Morgan Chase, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a U.S. veteran. So you can be best prepared to receive any funds for which you are eligible from the economic injury disaster loan or from any program, any disaster, because there's other programs as well. There are other bills in the works, as per my previous videos, for grants coming from the Small Business Administration and other programs that lawmakers have in the works, ladies and gentlemen. That said, right now, as you very well know, the administration is negotiating with members of Congress, mainly the two top Democrats in Congress, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and Senator Chuck Schumer from New York. The HEROES Act appropriates $10 billion for more economic injury disaster loan advances. So, Democrats have shown in writing they clearly support the economic injury disaster loan advance program. So what do we have to do? Let's go ahead and contact these two top negotiators. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi and Democrat Senator from New York State, Chuck Schumer. Contact Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi at speaker.gov/contact. And Senator Chuck Schumer at Schumer, SCHUMER.senate.gov. There's a link which reads contact. Go ahead and click that link. There's another one in the drop down menu. There's a selection labeled email Chuck. You click email Chuck and the website will load up the contact page. And let's go ahead and tell them. And what's good about that we're going to contact Senator Chuck Schumer is that he actually signed a letter demanded that the Small Business Administration disperse the full $10,000 grants to all legitimate small business applicants, ladies and gentlemen, together with other lawmakers. So he'll be behind this. We just have to have them ensure that lawmakers include S.4227 or the funding for the full disbursement of the $10,000 grant to all legitimate small business applicants, ladies and gentlemen. The $80 billion or the amount of billions that they require in order to fund the full disbursement of the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Advance Program as per S.4227, the Insured Disaster Loan for Small Businesses Act. You let them know again, what are you doing in order to ensure that the Small Business Administration dispersed the full $10,000 grants to all small business applicants as per S.4227. Please have lawmakers include S.4227 or the funding for the full disbursement of the $10,000 Economic Injury Disaster Loan Advance in the next relief package. And tell them, listen, you'll be more than glad to offer a personal testimonial. When, as I have said before, I'll just go ahead and tell you, when a local lawmaker helped me with the burial of my son through a miscarriage, that's the first thing that he requested, a personal testimony. And I gave it to him. So let's hope this is the one thing that will give us the ammunition to save our economy, to save our country, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Watch this video right here for more economic injury disaster loan and stimulus coverage. Click the like button if you like the video. Click the subscribe button to stay on top of my findings. I will report what other people will not. And stop at nothing until each and every one of you is funded with everything for which you are eligible through the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program and anything else as small, as legitimate small business applicants, ladies and gentlemen. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America and everybody else on this planet. Talk soon.